Like real, like androgynous.
Remember last time Brittany was about to beat me up because I didn't tell her we was live.
It's cool.
Oh, so YouTube got your little box for it.
Hey. So my son got shared delay tomorrow again. Like nigga was out of school for 3 weeks.
That's crazy. I got the struggle tails back here, B. Joints is not popping at all. I don't care.
Well.
That shit is so more convenient. I could tell you that much.
What?
They having
braids?
Struggle tails, nigga.
Oh yeah, I bet you ain't gotta worry about nothing.
Exactly. I just wake up.
And then now, especially because it's winter. What's up, Esquire?
Ridiculous.
Because it's winter now, I get like hat head.
Yeah.
Hat hair.
Yeah.
Like I'm like.
That's why I stopped wearing my hats at work. That's why the fro even came out. Because the one day I was at work, I took that shit off and brushed some sweat, and my joint was all over the place. I'm saying I was fucked up.
We're going to give everybody a moment to get in here. What's up? Hey, Justina. Esquire's in here.
What's up, Esquire? What's
Hey,
up,
Brittany?
Brittany? Long time no see.
Right.
Who's that person?
See, when you put the headphones on, they give you the perfect,
Leave
like,
that
box.
phone. I love
Like,
it.
you got the little, like,
What's
you
that
took the
model?
sponge to that job.
What's that model was like real androgynous? She was like dark skin. She had a box with like a little part right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
No, don't.
Yes,
don't.
you can shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up
I don't
over
know
here.
nothing about nothing.
I know something about some, just not, can't remember it all at once. That's all that is.
Down. All right. I'm gonna.
Is it skipping?
Is what skipping?
You said, why does this keep skipping?
I don't see it. Let me go on Facebook.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, it does keep buffering in and out.
Do it.
Yeah. It keeps buffering in and out.
Oh, like the video quality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry if y'all can hear. You can hear it playing back.
Keeps buffering in and out.
I don't know what's going on, but
Did you regulate? Did you go through the house, kick motherfuckers off the Wi-Fi?
yeah, I don't think nobody's on. I'll do it now though.
Ain't this supposed to be hardwired in anyway?
It is.
Hmm.
It might be.
Well, we're downstairs enjoying the TV, so I thought it was anybody in the house.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna just take a moment to share this. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining. What's up, Carly? Oh shit. Oh yeah. All right, I shared the post. Hopefully it went to my page. I was on my page. I wasn't even on Common Conversations page when I shared it. All right.
Interesting.
We're all sniffling and stuff.
Not me. So.
Conversation 412 Coke in the Manor, Pittsburgh, what it do? We in the city of bridges, we in the city of smoke. We in the city of rivers, so you don't need you a moat. We in the city of haters, so you just might need a coat. Or at least bring your jacket, cause man, the city get cold. Yeah, man, the city is frosty, yeah, man, the city is costly, but yeah, the city is mine. For 1, 2 times, well, you know that we grind, cause you know money is time, and you know time is steady ticking, so I gotta get mine. Then it's time to come up, so put your hands up. Let's all live this life before death interrupt. Ain't no time for mess up. Man, you better get with it. Arithmetic that I'm spitting, now do the math that you listen. Common conversation 412.
What's up, people? This is Common Conversation. Sorry. What's up, people? This is Common Conversation 412, and we are live. Okay. I am your host, Token.
I'm Mano.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're going to talk about
That is your name.
some stuff today.
And this is Power Pony.
Power Pony?
Insider. It's cool. Keep it moving.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep it moving. I guess I'm not privy to the insider. Ha 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 ha.
You're
it's
mad
like
as
an
fuck.
eight-year-old
You're mad as hell.
So what?
You're
How we a trio, but I'm like
It's
y'all
like
a
an
duo.
8-year-old joke from when I was in the military.
But so it's 2018, everybody. Happy New Year!
New like, no, I'm
Okay.
not doing that year.
Nah, not
Okay.
at all.
So did Mano?
Oh, same me.
Mano, did you make a New Year's resolution? Did you do
Fuck
New Year's
no.
resolution?
Do better than last year. That's the same one every year.
Hey,
Okay.
That's
I mean,
the
that's a
same.
good one though. It is a good one. Anybody else?
No, it sucks
okay.
when you set the bar so high.
Put out
and
your
then you
New
get
Year's
tired.
resolution.
I had a couple fuck up years. You know
a couple.
what I'm saying?
It
Shit
all
happens.
started when he was born.
Oh,
you know?
man.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, no. And conception. Start there.
Right.
Hey, what's up, people
Same.
watching on
I don't even
YouTube?
know how I made it today. I made too many lefts.
I'm
to
not,
like 3 circles.
YouTube
It
is
was
screwing us over on
You know,
this.
I can
this
honestly
shade.
say-
bad.
Last
YouTube is?
year-
Because this is Facebook.
No, I'm talking about the shade,
The shape.
The
the
shape.
color.
Oh, okay.
That.
I can honestly say last year
We
I
definitely look like
did.
silhouettes.
I completed all my goals last year.
Did you?
Which
Completed
was to
all
buy
of
a
them?
house, get back into school, and save money. And I did all that last year.
That's what's
Wow.
up.
So
That's what's
yeah. So this year I was like, dang, what the fuck is there left to do?
Hey,
It's like,
But my goal this year is to be self-full. Meaning last year I was very selfless and gave myself, and I stretched myself super, super thin. And I was always wore out, and I came home depleted, didn't have enough energy
What's
to
up,
even
Will?
give to my children.
Man, that shit is
So
crazy.
this year I'm being self-full, and I'm like, I'll do it if I can, but I'm not making any promises to nobody this
okay.
year.
That's what's
And I'm
up.
gonna stop ripping at work. That's one of my goals.
Oh, you say that every year. You say that every
No,
year.
don't do that.
And then
Like,
until
baby
she see
steps.
me,
Okay,
until she
right.
see
It's
me.
like, chill with that. You don't do much.
I just went straight
Fuck
in.
that.
Last year she quit
What up,
every
Will?
time until she seen me. When she seen me, she
Yeah, that's
unquit, and then after she ripped on me, then she'll quit again.
Always pull me in.
Nah.
I'm sitting in
Yeah,
my
because the auction
office.
pop into your head as soon as he walk by. Like, you
No.
start bending, and then you start bending
I
on
would
his
be
ass.
sitting in my office, and then tomorrow would come past, but other people would be like, "Hey, Brittany." And then it just drug me in, and I was trying to sit there and be quiet. Like I
Nah.
came ripping after Aaron's program, and they just slowly dragged me back
Nope,
in every day.
nope. All she do is rip. So my New Year's resolution was I was just telling Brittany a little bit about it, but mine just because everybody gets on me about not drinking water.
Yes,
So
Right.
now for every cup of pop is a cup of water.
that's fun.
That area there.
Is that better?
It's gonna fall.
Okay.
It's gonna hit me.
And
I thought there was a person talking out of her
Turn
boobs
her
or
up
something. The
a
way he
little
put the
Right? You like what the fuck?
yeah.
no, because
So
the words was, you know how you gotta talk to the words? Her words was like pointed towards me.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
so that's my New Year's resolution. What's up, Pepper? Pepper's in the building. Yeah. So today our topic today is we're gonna talk a little bit about foster care and giving your kids up for adoption or foster care. So and with that being said, like
Sir, turn me up a little bit.
2 weeks ago, we shared a video from Black Ink, VH1's Black Ink, the show, and it was
Which one was it, New York or Chicago? Well, the original Black Ink, or was it the Chicago?
I don't know.
I think I don't know. It's
Justina.
the one with the girl with the crusty lips.
With Sky,
All of 'em.
right? Sky was the one who gave up her kids for
Yeah.
adoption, right? I mean,
That's-
foster
that's
care.
I
Put them
knew
in the
her
foster
name,
care.
but I didn't know which one it was. I was trying to find it to see the full episode.
Yeah.
But you get what you need from the
Yeah,
clips.
you do get what you need from the clips. I watched both clips. If you didn't watch both clips, if you want something to reference after we get done doing the show, just feel free to go there and watch the clips. They're on there. Well, we posted it last week. But yeah, so she was sitting there, and a lot of people gave their opinions on it. And I was even reading some comments from the original clips that was shared on Facebook and stuff like that. But so when you seen that, guys, when you seen that, what did you guys think of that? Well, let's say the
Question again?
the youngest son,
Oh, the first. Okay.
the first one.
I didn't think that any of those moments should have been on camera. Those were private moments to be had, not to see who can get how many ratings that could have got. Like that's the part that bothered me. Like you ain't see your son, you claiming like or your kids, because you said they were twins first, but your kids in 15 years, and then you decided let's capture this on Black Ink show instead of let's doing this privately and giving your son a chance to
Yeah.
not be on TV. That was weird to me. But I mean, I'm glad that the first son seemed like he really embraced it. He was really happy. So I'm glad he got to see his mom after so many years. I just don't think it should have been done on camera.
Yeah, it was It was a heartstring opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's how I see it. It was a heartstring opportunity.
Justina said it was the original Black King. So this is, but so even so to me, okay. So that was the first one. Now, what about the second? So what you said? Well, you covered both of them.
Right.
You said neither one of the moments should have been on there. I think when that's your job, right?
Yeah,
it's part of the game. Like, you know what I mean? And that's the time that she was able to get in contact with him, because somebody made like, you know what I mean? You can't say, oh no, don't film my stuff, because maybe she might have been in breach of contract. Like, you know what I mean? Because you do have them filming your personal life, going to work and outside of work.
That had to be where then somebody had to reach out to her son, like, here's opportunity to meet your mom on camera. So
no, they probably
has to sign off on it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but they probably
And
they probably said, hey, like, you know what I mean, your mom want to meet you and da da da. She probably, but who knows how long it's been in work and before it actually came through, because, you know, actually at first, because I think they just turned 18.
No, they're not twins. So
the youngest one just turned 18, and she probably wanted to meet them both. And, you know, sometimes when you do it, and it depends on the paperwork, but some of that shit is closed when they get adopted out. So you don't get that information until they turn 18.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but my thing is that she could have said, and there's always no's to what you can film on those shows. You can always say no to 2 different things. So she could have said, no, I don't want to film this first initial meeting, but let's film it where, you know, maybe I take him out to lunch for the first time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Something like that. But that moment was so private.
I think even with the oldest son, she tried to take him to dinner. Then the oldest son's reaction, even his reaction,
or was it like he was doing something and they linked up wherever he was at?
I thought it was dinner, because she looked like she was ready to order stuff, and she was just asking them to look, and they didn't get to that point yet.
See, and I don't know if you guys seen a clip, or wasn't a clip, the interview where the oldest son came with his dad,
Chrissy,
and the dad and the oldest son had an interview saying that how the mom lied and said they were twins, they weren't twins, and it was a whole bunch of stuff that she said that she did in order to give him a better life that she actually never did, and how that little boy was in and out of juvie, he was in and out of different foster care.
The
oldest boy,
yeah,
and he talked about with his dad, and the fact that the oldest boy's dad was really involved in his life, but he moved away in order to find a job or something like that, and then we came back, he couldn't find his son again. So Sky never reached out to the oldest boy's dad and say, hey, I'm about to place this little boy in care.
Right. I mean,
I think he came in too hostile.
Okay, so now when you say that makes more sense, because remember I was telling you that there's 2 different how I was feeling about it whenever we talked over the phone or whatever. Yeah. I felt like, okay, I understood both responses,
right?
And I understood the older one because he was older, so he was more understanding of what was going on.
He knew his mom, right.
Exactly. And then the younger one was more so like how they put it, like on fantasies, where it's like, okay, I remember her, but it's faint, and I only remember the good things, and this, that, and the third. But the older one was like, yeah, I remember her. I remember going through this and living out the car, and I remember her just sending us off.
Right.
Like I've seen plenty of parents where they're fighting for their kids, where it don't matter if we're going to be in a shelter, we're in the shelter together. If we're going to go live with auntie or cousin this or that, we're going to go together. Right. And when you find out, like, oh, his dad was helping but had to go away to make ends meet.
To find a job.
Before you gave over your child, that's something you should have discussed with his father.
Right. Okay. Now I'm gonna go a little bit different. So. Even with the dad, like, you know what I mean? You don't, to me, because he's just giving his perspective and his point of view, you're not going to paint yourself on reality TV, most people, as being the bad person.
Well,
because
that interview was the boy and the dad together.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But the dad can even. If the kid was in foster care, the dad can tell him, son, this is what happened, and you not knowing, you're going to believe whatever. You know what I mean? Because he came back and he's coming back with open arms, right? But who knows if he left to actually really go pursue a job so he can help he can help the kids or help his son, or if he left, like, you know what I mean? We don't
have different dads, right? So but they have different experiences in foster care.
I don't think this is what I'll say. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I feel like both of their reactions were warranted. I felt they was real special. The youngest son and the oldest son, but I also feel like even hearing her stuff, because to me, I don't care what you say about her. I really don't know. I don't watch the show a lot, but even in her thing, like, you know what I mean, her tears and stuff, Jim was genuine. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't think they was genuine, man. That was like some crocodile. Let's see how many ratings I can get. Like,
but do you
it
think,
was just
who really would do? Who
because
really would
look,
do
at
that?
the end of the day, and Justina was saying how Sky gave it to her mom. The mom allegedly gave the boys away. Allegedly, Sky knew where the kids were, why they were in care, but never
And
reached
foster
out.
care.
Yeah.
But once they get into adoption, though, we
they-
know that the rules can be different.
Yeah, but I don't think the oldest boy was ever officially adopted. So Sky knew, and even when they're in foster care, if the parent is involved, because we both work for social work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The parents know where their kids are if they're involved. Yeah, and even when I had a foster child, I had the mother involved in every step of the way. So the mom knew where the daughter was. She knew where her school was. So Sky, if she wasn't involved, would have known exactly where her kids were. But allegedly, she knew. So when they walked in,
Pepper.
So if you
Go ahead.
allegedly knew and then just decided
right.
not to
And then-
even...
But
in the little boy's interview,
not to mess up. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but not to mess up. Like, you know what I mean, even with that situation, you probably don't want to mess up their life. Like, because and I'm gonna give a reference to another show too here in a second, but. Like when you look at to me, and maybe I'm a softie, I'm a weak link. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm a sympathetic crier, all that shit. So when I seen that, I am. Okay. I hate the word emotional, but like when I seen that, even the son like flipping and being mad and stuff like that, because like you never know like the situation with abuse he probably endured and stuff like that.
Right.
That was granted, but. I don't think she faked that. Like, you know what I mean? Because when they was grabbing her son, you see her like yelling, "Get off me!" Like, you can't fake to me like just like the pain in her face when she was trying to get to her. No, don't touch my son. Like
I think the pain in her face, and the crying was because she got caught in a lie. Because she was lying the whole time on Black Ink saying they were twins and she did this and da 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 da. So when the little boy had the interview, and Sky seen the interview before this encounter with her oldest son and her were filmed, she seen the interview and she seen how he was upset. Like, my mom was lying. She making all this money, ain't send me a dime, knew I was in juvie, ain't put shit on my commissary. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, I think she was upset because she knew coming in he was angry. Because she lied the whole way, the oldest son.
Yeah.
So she knew coming in. I'm not saying that she wasn't overjoyed to see her son for the first time. I'm just saying that a lot of that emotion was mixed by the fact that she lied.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean. So
and you're being outed,
right? So when he came in, he came in super hostile, and he didn't come in willing with open arms. You know what I mean? And I get why he didn't come with open arms, because he was upset. She lied this whole time. You know what I mean?
Lied.
But in my opinion, in order to really for them to kind of mend that relationship, because I've been there. I was in foster care. I was separated from my mom for years, off and on my whole life, and then I eventually re-entered foster care when I was 14. You know what I mean? What really is going to help them in that relationship, and unfortunately something I never got, was just an apology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to say I was wrong. I know what I did that allow you to make you enter foster care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why my father's relationship mended
Yogi?
so well, was because my dad just acknowledged that the fact that, you know, he was on drugs, you know, and he was abusive and he did different things, and he knows that's what ultimately led to me and my siblings enter into foster care. So I feel like if Sky would just get the opportunity to say, I apologize, that things can be mended and things can move on from that point.
Yeah,
So,
one of the clips that I've seen is that the first thing she goes off of is she doesn't go into trying to start a conversation. It goes into addressing every question he had.
I mean,
Where it was like, he said this, so instead of sitting there like, it's so good to see you, I know it goes into, I really wasn't making no money, I couldn't do this, that, and the third. It's like,
she went into the
you were exactly
right.
like you weren't.
So somebody on MJ said on YouTube, he said he said the fact that the mother, her mom, placed them in foster care when she was in jail, and then said the father apologized to Sky for abandoning her and not helping her with the boys.
Well, there's two different fathers, so I'm not sure what
father. Which father are you talking about?
Because I do know Sky went through a lot of abuse, because I believe her oldest son, her or is it her youngest or her oldest son's father? One of the two was like 15 years her senior. Sky got pregnant very, very young with her kids, like 14, 15. So I do know one of the fathers is very, very older than her, pedophile. Let's be honest, because anybody that far in gap age is a pedophile.
Yeah.
But so I do know, both of the fathers did take some time away and stepped away from both the children for whatever reasons may be. But you know what I mean. So I'm not saying it's all on Sky, because
smoking a double cup, boy. All of
you can't place all the blame on the mothers, because there are fathers involved and there's grandparents and aunts and uncles involved. So I'm just not saying that, you know, it's always all her fault, but my saying when she came in, like Larry said, she could have just said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And that came in was like, "Well, I just started making this money." Ain't nobody worried about your
You
money.
don't
Just
understand.
apologize.
The first 2 years, I didn't get paid anything. It was like, chill. That right there, because that might be the thing where it's like, you coming in with all of this stuff and you really ain't even sat there and, like, let's get to know me. Let me ask some questions. Let me, instead of coming in and you're answering all the questions from the interview. So you took time to get to watch an interview, but you didn't take time to reach out to me when I was in juvie.
She didn't take time to understand his emotions. All she wanted to do was come in defense and say da 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 da. But how about you looking at that little boy's face during his interview? He was angry. He was upset.
Yeah.
He was in tears.
Yeah.
Just take the moment
And
to
you wanna know
recognize his feelings.
What really hit is like,
Something's happening.
you seen with every question she answered in defense, you seen his temper rising and him slowly trying to hold it back.
Yeah.
It's like
you did.
She was escalating it with not even letting him speak, and that's why. And
he didn't get a word.
And then it's like you don't know how to communicate with him. You don't know him. So you're sitting there doing all of this stuff, and he's just sitting there, just like, and plus he may have been raised to where it's like, you're a boy. You're not supposed to show emotion. So bottling all this up, and the one person that you feel, well, one of the many people that you feel. But sometimes you feel like the mother, like that's my mother figure. She held me. I was in her womb, all that other stuff. It's like, you gave me up. And I never knew about when she was in jail part.
Yeah.
Right. See,
if that may even be.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what multiple people are saying. Like, you know, I mean, multiple people are saying it was when she was in jail. The mother was the one who did do that.
The grandmother.
I mean, the grandmother, yeah, her mother. But yeah, like, you know what I mean? What's up, Naomi? I do think, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, like, you know what I mean? I don't know her situation, and from what she explained, even in there, like, you know what I mean? Now, even going off of what you said, she was young, and then she was even still trying. You don't know what somebody's going through. Like, you know what I mean? So if somebody, like, is living homeless in the streets, so therefore her mother probably wasn't even helping her if she was on the streets and stuff like that.
And I agree.
And then the buck got passed to the grandma, and then the grandma was like, fuck no, I ain't dealing with them. They going here. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, so maybe she did try everything, and then the mom make that decision because, look, you can take care of them. You in and out of jail, and some of the stuff that she did say. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And they had, I mean, and that's what happened. And, you know what I mean? And I understand, like, because, like, you know what I mean? Even in the work we do and stuff like that, I understand the anger that's behind the one with the oldest son. And I even can see the youngest son and the forgivingness side of it, and just like, it doesn't matter, because if you watch a video, he said it doesn't matter, you're here now. That's what he said in his clip. Like, you know what I mean? So,
but then I also seen a thing where the younger one, I don't know if he had like a pre-interview, but she didn't come in on the defensive. Yeah, she came in like, oh, this is that, like, you're so beautiful. Can I touch you? Can I hug you? Like. It was more of like a understanding and trying to seek permission to come into your space and really get to know you and acknowledge you. But when it came to the older one, it was literally just like, I'm gonna prove you wrong for all you think.
But you know why I think that is? It's because, like, even when you look at it, the oldest son was in juvie and doing all this stuff, right? Because if you look at what she was saying, her youngest son was the athlete, getting a scholarship or whatever like that into the sports and stuff like that. So it was just like, she knew her guard can be down with him, because right now, the youngest son had the better life. He's getting all this stuff. He's getting scholarships and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we know this dude, the oldest son here, and she's seen the interview with the oldest son, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? So with there, she had to go like, oh, like, you know what? He's blaming me for him being in juvie and all this other, like, you know what I mean? In his head, like, you know what I mean? Who's gonna blame somebody for them being successful and being in a good home and being able to get all the good stuff out of it? Like, I mean, granted, the youngest son probably was hurt, or like, you know what I mean,
But the
felt some
youngest
type
son
of way
did
about
say
it.
that, though.
And you
It's
can
like
see
you
the
couldn't
sky
do it,
is
and
still,
you had to make a hard decision.
Right.
So you're the reason I'm in this position
see,
now.
now-
He did also
that's
say.
that's what I'm saying. Grateful. That's why she didn't. She didn't have to come on a defensive, like, you know what I mean, with her. Like, they actually had a conversation, because I think he still had his basketball gear or something on, or his hoop short or whatever like that. Like, you know what I mean.
and a lot of times the younger children, even from my line of work and just my personal experience being in foster care, the younger children do seem to be more forgiving because they don't know as much, and they were kind of more unscathed, and they were almost more sheltered by the older children in the family, so that they didn't have to feel as angry.
Right.
I can say when I entered foster care, I entered foster
Alicia?
care with 3 of my
Yeah.
other siblings, and I was one of the oldest too in the foster care. So when we finally, got reunited with my mother, my younger brother and sister were a lot more open to my mom and my dad, because my sister and I made sure that they were unscathed a lot of the way in foster care, that we kind of took on our burden of being in foster care and the testimonies in court, so that they didn't have to do it. You know what I mean? So when they went back, I was like, oh, Mom, wow, welcome back. It was kind of like I was gone for like an extended summer, and now you're back.
It was
Type
vacation
of a
for them, but
right,
for
for
y'all,
them. But for me, it was reality. I knew I was in foster care. I'm going to therapy. I knew I'm testifying in court. So there's a lot of things going on. And for Sky was so young when she had her kids. You can still see that Sky is so mentally young just by watching her on Black Ink. Period. She's still so mentally young. I feel like she's still 14 and 15 when she started having them babies in her mind mentally. You know what I mean? So in all fairness, Sky doesn't even know how to approach her children. You know what I mean? I just wish she would approach them with more of a, let me just be honest. I was 14, 15. I dated older men. I did what I had to do to get by. I didn't know how to raise you because I didn't know how to raise myself. I didn't have a mother figure in my life. I didn't have a father figure in my life. I'm sorry. I can't make up for the past. Let's just move forward now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wish that's how she would have went with her oldest son, instead of being really angry and pushing back. And just my experience in being a supervisor and then having 4 children of my own, you have to approach each and everybody individually.
Yeah.
So when I go into supervision, I can't supervise one of my staff the same way I do my other staff, because they have different personalities. And even with my children, I can't discipline one child the same way I discipline my other child, because they respond differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when she went in with her younger son, there's different ways that you can she could have responded with her younger son versus her oldest son. I wish she would have gave just to let him talk. Even she sat there silent. Sometimes there's so much understanding in silence. Then and silence says more sometimes than you just being verbally just
What's up,
blah.
Steph?
You know what I mean? So I wish she would have just been silent and allow him just to say whatever he had to say, or just even sit in the silence for a while and say, I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? And start like that. So it was just a lot of things. And once again, I'm going to say it should have not been, and maybe her youngest son should have been captured on camera, because it did seem like they probably had a conversation on the phone before they got to do it on camera. So the oldest son, because she knew how angry he was and how angry he was coming in, that should have been an outside moment.
Justina posted, said that the oldest, that the foster mom said the youngest son has always asked about his mom his whole life and always wanted to meet her. So for him, so like, you know what I mean? So it's just, it didn't
for him, it was like a superhero, like my mom.
That's what, like I said, like
you know
the
what I mean?
fantasy, the cartoon is like, oh, all I have of my mother is this picture.
Right, and I'm sure the oldest son, once again, like I did for my little brother and sister, and my sister Krista did, was he tried to minimize the situation. Like, oh, mom's coming back. She just out here, you know what I mean, in
took
school.
the blunt of the emotional pain.
So even for my, like, I have kids I call, like, that I kind of just welcome into my life, to where when their parent went away to jail, all they knew was that their parent was in college. Now the oldest kid knew where their parent was, but that's once again trying to save your little brother and sister from the pain. So I'm sure the oldest boy had to take on a lot of that pain and anger for his little brother, so that his little brother can have a good life. You know what I mean? And display it.
And
I
not
wish she
be
would have
worrying or spazzing out.
Right, and I wish that Sky would took some time, even if she talked to the older boy on the phone a couple of times, because obviously he was too angry to meet in person right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or Skyped FaceTime, anything like that before she did a face-to-face meeting, and she shouldn't have done it on camera. Even she said, you know what, I got to lose my contract because I got to get my baby back.
Yeah.
And I can't do this on camera. So if you want me to do this on camera and I got to lose my job on the show, then by all means kick me off, because my babies mean more to me in the show. But not everybody's ready to be a mother.
But,
and Sky might not right now, even at her age, and her kids are grown, almost grown, because 18 ain't grown to me. But she's at the point where even right now, she might not be ready to be a mom, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I feel like people just admit that they're not ready to be parents, and the world can be a lot better for certain children. And so I just feel like she just shouldn't have done it on camera, and there was different ways that she could have went about that, especially with her older son.
Yeah, because you said there may have been stipulations in her contract. Well, the stipulations won't keep you from seeing your kids.
Yeah.
You can't
Right.
write that in there.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
just because I'm supposed to record you, there are private areas and off-camera time, just like you'll see in the middle of like any other show, Love and Hip Hop, where like, no, this shit ain't going on camera.
Yeah.
And they
Right.
have to shut the cameras off. Like you can't
Right.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
And to be honest, that these two moments for her sons boosted Sky's popularity. It boosted it. She'll probably be getting paid more on the next season because now she is more popular.
But
You know
it
what I mean?
boosted hatred for her too. Like, you know what I mean? It did a
hatred in that type of line of work gets you more money. It don't matter.
I mean, yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, it do go both ways, but like, I don't know. That was a bit, to me, was a bit touchy. So another show I want to talk about real quick. There's this show, I forgot what channel come on, but I'm pretty sure if you're talking to your Comcast remote or just search it, it's called.
So you got talking remote.
It's called Long Lost Family. I don't know if you ever seen it, but so it talks about people who's probably was in foster care and went through adoption and stuff like that, but they try to find their biological mother, fathers, their siblings and stuff like that. So it talks about them not even knowing the full story and going back and forth. Like, oh, why did I get? Why was I placed for adoption? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? And in some cases you hear, like, I mean, the mom was being abused or the mom didn't have things and stuff. So and it covers everybody. It's like, I mean, different races, different nationalities, all this different stuff, and it's crazy. You see the anger, and some of them are adults, so it's not even just like, I think the age range from like adults, so 18 to like, and some of the people who are still looking for parents and still looking even for siblings, or 60 years old trying to find their siblings, and it's a good show. I watch it all the time. So if you want something to watch and just really, that's reality TV, I guess. That's a good show.
I can personally relate to that because I have a little brother. He's 11. We'll be turning 11 on the 5th. And I met him for the first time over Christmas, and it was like a very surreal moment because I've always wanted to meet him. And this is a younger brother that I had on my dad's side. And when I first approached his mom, and my dad's been trying to get out of his life. I'm not saying my dad did all he could, but my dad's paying child support. It costs a lot of money to go back and forth to court. And unfortunately, because he's paying child support for, different siblings that I have, that he couldn't afford to take off to go down to court. So it was a losing battle, but that's a different story. Yeah. So he did try to be involved. And the mom said, if you want to be involved, then you have to call yourself Uncle Kevin when you introduce yourself to your son.
Oh, shit.
My dad was like, what? Long story short, my dad didn't do that. So when I reached out to her, and I reached out to her.
Stay strong, brother.
Right.
Stay strong.
And I reached out to her for over a year once I got back from the military, and I came back from South Carolina, and I said, I really want to meet him. And she said, if you do meet him, you can't identify yourself as his sister. It has to be like, I'm a friend of your mom's.
But
I was really offended.
Don't stipulate that because that's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was willing to do that
how old
because
was
he was younger. He had been like 6 or 7, and I was willing to do that because I really wanted to meet him at the time. So I said okay. But she played every weekend. Every weekend it was an excuse of why I couldn't meet him. It was excuses like her husband came back in town, so they're celebrating, or he lost a tooth today, you can't see him. It was just every excuse of why I couldn't meet him.
That's straight
bullshit. You know what I mean? So after a year, I gave up. And then I found out that my little brother and his brother from his mom had another son by her husband entered foster care. So when I reached out, and said, hey, I didn't get contacted by the caseworker because you should have been doing family finding. Yeah. Nobody contacted me, or my father, right? Quick. Or their father, or my little brother's father. Family finding, you should have contacted my dad first because he's a biological parent. You know what I mean? But they gave him to like his stepdad's family, something like that. I don't know where he ended up he ended up, you know. But my dad fought to get him back, and you know, it was just a lot, you know. But when I finally did get to meet him, because he told his mama, look, I don't look like you or my stepdad or my stepbrother. I know that's not my dad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So his mom had to finally come clean and say, you do have a dad, you know, this is who he is. And when he met my dad for the first time, he was just super excited, you know, and it was a great moment for him to see somebody who he looked like in his family, because he looks just like my dad, and he looks just like, you know, the rest of my siblings, you know. So it was like an honor to meet him for the first time, but it was just like, even then, that was emotional for me to say, like, wow, I had a little brother that I knew about for 11 years, and I always wanted to meet. Yeah, mm-hmm. You know what I mean. So it was a surreal moment on Christmas. He got to meet his grandma, who's my dad's mom, for the first time on her birthday. So that was just like a major moment for our family. So it was like,
that's
what's up.
The asshole stuff that you do and say. Yeah, I hope you ain't meet that Brittany.
No, he was a nice Brittany.
That was cool. So, just real quick to throw out some quick statistics. Approximately 13,000 to 15,000 children are currently in foster care and part of the child welfare system. Between 400,000 and 500,000 children in the U.S. are in foster care each year. Wow. So
let me answer one of the questions I asked about when he found out about his brother and sister. So he only met me first as one of his siblings. But when he walked in, I was actually having a slumber party for all my nieces and nephews. Had about like 13 kids in my house at the time when he first came over.
God damn.
So it was very He's 11. So it was overwhelming when he first walked into my house, because I had 13 of his nieces and nephews.
Wow.
In my house. They range from 14 down to 2.
I was about to say, is he a younger uncle?
He is. And my kid, my 6-year-old, like, Mom, how do I have an 10-year-old nephew? That don't make no sense. That's nasty. Like, how are you 28 and he's 10? What happened? I'm like, man, ask your grandpa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Rolling Stone. I can't really explain
that's in my family too.
Right. Shit, but my older sister, who lives in New York, did call him, because my dad gave him an iPhone for Christmas, because that's what he asked for Christmas, was a phone. So my dad bought him an iPhone. So my older sister Skyped him. FaceTimed him, excuse me. I don't have an iPhone. So she FaceTimed him. So he got to meet her. I don't think he got to meet my younger sister, but he did meet her daughter, which is his niece. And my
younger sister got a daughter?
Mm-hmm. She's 7.
Oh.
Yep. So, and my brother, unfortunately, was killed a few years back. But the crazy part is, when I finally got to see a picture of him, my dad sent me a picture like a couple weeks before I met him. He looked identical to my little brother. So it was like I didn't want to put the emotions like, oh my God, it's like Martin all over again on him. But when I gave him a hug, it was like hugging my little brother again. So it was like a moment for me too to kind of hold that back, because I didn't want to put that emotion of my sadness on him for meeting him for the first time. So it was really nice.
Damn, that's deep. That's deep.
Thought another statistic, brother.
Yeah. So okay, another statistic. In 2013, there were more than 8,000 youth 13 years or older who lived in foster care in PA.
That's a lot of kids under the age. And I can say from our line of work that I worked with young people who were 10 and 11 in a group home setting. And the youngest person in that group home was 8 and a half, turning 9. And I just couldn't understand, like, wow, there's a baby in here at 8 and a half, 9, who doesn't even know how to wash their own body or brush their own teeth. And they're living in a group home. It wasn't even a group home. This is a foster home. This is a group home setting.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just flabbergasted. And I'm glad that Allegheny County is moving away from conjugate care and, you know, group homes, and, you know, going full steam ahead to, you know, getting more foster parents. Yeah. So if you're willing to open your door to a child in need, especially teenagers, because there aren't too many foster families who are willing to take teenagers, you know, who aren't willing to deal with that emotion. But a lot of time, I think foster families and parents don't understand is you'll get that cute 5-year-old, but that 5-year-old is going to turn into a teenager one day. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're cute and cuddly now, but they're going to be teenagers in the long run. You know what I mean? So if you're willing to open up your home to, you know, especially a teenager, you know, by all means, do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
So another statistic: sadly, on average, 1,100 PA youth age out of foster care or leave the system at the age of 18 or older. Far too many of the youth never end up in a stable, permanent family situation. Yeah, so that's one statistic.
And a lot of those kids end up homeless. They don't know financial literacy.
Okay.
Don't go to school.
So
You
with
know
that,
what I
with
mean?
that,
So-
but with Brittany even saying that, 1 in 4 of the youth who age out of the system experience homelessness, struggles with mental health, challenges such as depression, substance abuse, anxiety disorder, and with nearly 1 in 4 of the youth having been arrested since leaving care. So
Right.
they either they're homeless, struggle with mental health, or get arrested and start getting a record and stuff
Right,
like
and a lot
that.
of those kids have, experience in the system as children, and they end up having the same experience as an adult on the adult side in the county jail. You know what I mean? So I really, implore people to utilize services like the 211, the link, calling the link to, hook up with services. And if they're old enough to, if they ever were in care out of the age of 14 and above, go down to the 412 zone downtown. They help with homelessness. They have a nurse on site. They have computers. They can help you get your vital records, your driver's license, your permit, help you link to mental health agencies that can help you get your medication and get you back on track.
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's different stuff like that too. And if you want to know more resources and stuff like that, if you message us, I'll make sure I get the information, or I'll make sure I'll reach out to Brittany so Brittany can get you guys the information, because there is a lot of things like there's Health Shack and stuff like that, which like, a lot of young people are eligible for, and it got something to do with a lot of your addresses and your doctors, because when you're going through this stuff and you're bouncing from house to house or whatever, you're homeless or the youth are homeless. They don't have all their paperwork or some of the addresses when they get older, when they're applying for jobs, and they need your last 10 previous addresses since 1975 and shit like that.
They actually
you know what I mean? So
I had so many addresses.
So the Health Shack helps with all that information.
Applying for my job, because they legit say like, what are all your addresses?
Yeah, right. That's
not what are the last 3 years or some shit. No, like we need them all.
Right, and see, and Health Shack is a program that allows you to store all your, like he said, all your vital records,
your personal information,
all that. Because when you do bounce from house to house, it seems like bags of clothes go missing. It might, and as a foster kid like me, you might have hid something in one of your shoes, and now those shoes didn't come with you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, so now I just lost my birth certificate, or I lost family photos that I've been, trying to keep up with. So Health Shack allows you to store all the information,
and
pictures, everything in
pictures,
there.
photos, everything, so you can upload all this stuff and too. So if you know young people, like I said, or somebody's going through that stuff and may think they might be able to use that just message us, or can use resources. Just tell them to message us, and we'll help them out. Another statistic: young PA women in foster care are 2.5 times more likely to become pregnant by 19.
Is this speaking to my life story? What the hell?
than young women not in foster care.
It's like they just read my life. I was like, let me get these facts off Brittany's life. Because I was one of those kids who got pregnant at 16, had a baby at 17, and unfortunately, I didn't have the best caseworker. And I was talking about me.
I think they're talking about you.
It is. And at 17, I decided just to leave my dad. My last place after foster care, they placed me with my dad. And at 17, I decided, I have enough with CYF, and I just left my dad's house and never went back. And my caseworker never came looking for me. So technically, I aged out of CYF at 18, but they didn't know where I was for a year and a half, and nobody cared.
Damn,
Wow.
She's a fucking thug.
So
she went out there like fucking Rambo and MacGyvered it for a year and a half. Like, fuck
I mean, I had a place to lay my head, my baby's head, but technically I was still in CYF care, but my caseworker never came looking for me.
And I guess the person never reported you? It's just like,
Nope.
fuck it?
Nope.
Damn.
Okay, so, all right, another statistic. Nearly half of the PA foster care youth haven't found a job 4 years after leaving the system and struggle to pay bills. Nearly half who age out will not complete high school.
Did you age out?
And are twice likely to drop out. What?
Huh?
He asked, did you age out of foster care?
I wasn't in foster care. Fuck you, because it's you say because of the dropout thing. Fuck off.
You know, and that's unfortunate because a lot of those foster care kids end up signing themselves back into CYF because they don't have any other choice because they're living on the streets. They didn't finish high school. They can't find a job. They can't even get their ID because they don't know how to get their vital records. You know what I mean? So a lot of those kids end up signing themselves back into CYF, and you have a few years after you age out at 18 and sign yourself back into CYF. So if you know somebody who's really struggling and they don't have any other option, and I'm not saying CYF is bad because there's so many great things that come with being in CYF, that if they need to sign themselves back into CYF, that they have the opportunity to do so if they choose.
Okay, so I just want to say something else, and so I know, with you guys hearing this, if you live in the state of Pennsylvania and you want to become a foster parent, there's this website you can go to, and probably start the application and start the process. This is just one of the websites. I'm pretty sure there's more. You probably go through Second Chance and all that other stuff, and maybe in CYF.
Wesley Spectrum.
Yeah, Wesley Spectrum. So there are a lot of places, but this one right here is www.psrfa.org. So, and that stands for Pennsylvania State Resource Family Associates. And then, so now they're I guess from what this site is saying, they're changing the name from foster family to resource family. That was also something. So it's nice. So it's just not saying you gotta be your foster, but they could be your resource, like somebody who can. And a resource is just somebody who can, or something that can help you accomplish something.
Give you something, right?
Yeah, and give you something.
Right. You know, and you don't have to be a full-fledged foster family where you have the child live with you permanently. You can be, you know, somebody who a respite care, a resource family or foster family, where you just take the kid when they need it. Like, just say like the foster family is going on vacation, and unfortunately sometimes foster families can't always take the kids with them on vacation, so they utilize respite care providers or foster families to say, can you take this child for 4 days while this parent was on vacation, or this parent had to go to the hospital for some reason, can you take these two siblings while they're while the foster mom or dad is in surgery, right? You know what I mean? So there's different ways that you can help.
What's up, man?
With these kids, even if you just want to become a mentor, you know, and say, I recognize this is I have a family right now who the two siblings are in foster care, living with their grandmother, and I go over periodically, you know, and get them school uniforms, or I'll stop in once a week and say, how you doing? Do you need a break, grandma? I can take them for a couple hours and help them with their homework. You know what I mean? So there's different ways that you can be involved where you don't have to have the child live with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
don't forget, like, you know what I mean, and too, like, you know what I mean, there are a lot of children out there looking for homes, and if you heard statistics and you didn't jump in too late, like, you know what I mean, and who are needy, and there's no pressure. I'm not saying everybody got to, or like, you know what I mean, but you know what I mean, like, give back. Let's give back. Let's support. Let's help out. Like, you know what I mean, but it's not for everybody. But maybe, you know what I mean, you can see somebody, like, you know what I mean, you see somebody struggling, maybe provide them this resource, or you know somebody who will probably be a good candidate or something like that to be a foster parent. Let them know about this information, even though in some of the statistics, and don't be too quick to judge people, even young people. Like, you know what I mean, you don't know what they're going through, you don't know their life story, because, like, you know what I mean, especially working at our job, I learned that everybody has a story, and you don't know what's going on or what happened to somebody, like, you know what I mean, and it's also too part of the trauma formed approach. But, like, you know what I mean, just ask what happened to somebody. Like, you know what I mean, everybody just ain't doing this shit because they're just evil. Like, you know what I mean, something probably could have happened to them in their life to make them that way, or to make them want to steal from the store, or to make them want to do it. And, you know, and that shit happened to me downtown the one time. I'm sorry, it just caught me off because I said that, but I was in CVS downtown. I think some kid was trying to steal something out the store, or whatever like that. And I'm like, you know, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. I think I was leaving from court or something like that for work. I was like, you know what? I'll pay for it. They're like, no, you're not gonna pay for his stuff. How the fuck you gonna tell me I can't pay for somebody's stuff? And I get it, because okay, you wanna. But there's no reason for this kid that you do all this to try to get this kid in the city. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even know the kid. I don't know what he been through. Like, the kid, like, it looked like they probably was like 12 or 13 or something like that. Nah, here, I'll buy their stuff. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. Like, that was some dumb stuff. Right there
could have really changed his life.
Yeah.
His life. Or like, could have been leading to jail. Now he's like, damn, I want to be somebody where I can have enough money to help somebody else.
Right. And I mean,
it might have been one of those things where you broke an emotional boundary.
Yeah.
Literally, because it was like, damn, I've been out here for years, and the only person that ever did that was my older brother, and we got separated.
Yeah.
Or the only person that ever did that was my uncle, and he's passed away.
Yeah.
And
Right.
he's so used to getting a negative response where it's like, all right, I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I gotta do, I'm gonna get out and do the same shit. Little shit like that can literally change somebody's life and views on life, because it's like, oh, most of the black people that I know are like, you better figure out how to get it, but this black man just, I don't know him, and he decided to
Right.
pay for my stuff and get me out of this
That
jam.
was a blessing to him.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
and you know what I mean. I didn't like, you know what I mean, because there was no reason for that kid to get in trouble, to get jammed up with the like, you know what I mean. Because there's plenty of times when I was younger, like, you know what I mean, and I didn't caught the bus, especially when, like, you know what I mean, bus fare was only like 75 cents and shit like
You
that.
ran out
You
the
never
house.
get downtown, but you, sometimes you're there all day. You lose your transfer, or you got to take the Mac back up to Northview. Like, you know what I mean. I'm hungry as shit. I need to go in the store, Candy Rama, go steal some candy
Stay
real
at a
quick.
Candy
Yeah, right
Rama,
out of
man.
there.
Not even or somewhere like that, or you just wish, like, you know what I mean, you see everybody, or
I know
you
they took a lick every fucking
Or-
day.
or
Not
it's-
even week,
right.
every day.
Man, I
'Cause that was
stayed
the only place
stealing
downtown that
every
had the scooper
Scoop.
still. Like,
Right, and this was some-
trustworthy
Shout out to
enough.
Candy Rama for that. You know what I mean?
And or you be downtown, you know what I mean, because the bus stop was a T station and stuff like that, and you waiting at McDonald's. But meanwhile, you're sitting there, you get hungry as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you being young and stuff like that. So you never know, or like, you know what I mean, you never know what somebody's going
Never
through.
know
If there's
the
enough
story
food,
and
or if they
trauma
missed dinner.
behind
Yeah,
them.
you
Right.
never know. You never
You
know.
know, and you don't have to be a millionaire to be a foster family, to be a foster parent. You don't have to be married to be a foster parent. You can be a single man or woman. You can have kids of your own. You know what I mean? So you don't have to feel like, damn, I'm not in a position where I have this, I own my own house, or, you know, have my own car to be a foster family.
That was
You
all.
know, just open up your doors to somebody. And yeah, I'm gonna throw the race card out there because we need more black foster families. I was in John Eagle a couple months back, and it was a white family with this young black man. He had natural hair, and they're shopping for products. They picked a VO5. First of all, white people can't use VO5. That stuff makes your hair so dry. You know what I mean? But anyway, so he came to me and said, "Ma'am," the family, she's like, "I don't want to be like stereotypical, but can you help me buy hair products for my son?" I said, "Yeah, where's your son?" He's like, "Right here." You know, I was like, "Okay, great." You know, I'm like, "Oh my God, he's black. How is that your son?" You know, because I work in the agency, so I know, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, so they needed help finding hair care products. So I had to give them like a quick tutorial, like, don't
Earl
wash your
Skeet,
hair
you
every
don't
day.
wash all the
And,
time.
right. And then I gave them the information for, the My Best Self program that pays for foster children over the age of, I think, 12 or 14, and they get their hair done. You know what I mean? Or if a young man wants to get a haircut, or a woman wants to get their haircut, they'll pay for it to get it done. So, you know what I mean? But there's so many children who are entering care who are biracial or just brown in general, and the families don't know how to care for this young person's skin or hair. You know what I mean? And now there's that racial kind of boundary because now they don't know how to interact, and these kids, and that affects their, emotions and their self-esteem. So I had a young woman I work with who had a Caucasian family she lived with, and she didn't go to school for 2 weeks because her hair wasn't done. And people think like, oh, get your girl your hair, go to school. But no, that really affects her self-esteem.
Right.
And unfortunately, the foster mom did all she could, but she did not know how to care for this little girl's hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that black people just know how to do black people's hair, because, I'm natural, and I had to learn how to take care of my own hair as an adult because I always had a perm my whole life. I didn't know how to take care of it. But there's sometimes a kid wants to wake up and see somebody that looks like them.
Yes, it's true.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because when they enter foster care, unfortunately, there's a lot of white providers where a CYF worker who took them out of their first home from their biological family was white. The judge, the rule that they couldn't go home was white. Their therapist who's saying that they now have a mental health diagnosis was white. Their probation officer is white. You know what I mean? So now they're going home and say to the foster family, oh, trust this foster family, they love you, but they're white.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Everybody that's been
right. Everybody just
sent you
came
to the
in and out the
ringer
house,
has
right,
been
was
white.
white. You know what I
Probably
mean?
causing
So
them
there's-
some form of trauma.
Right, and when you enter CYF for foster care, not only did you enter CYF for foster care because you experienced a trauma, in my case it was, physical abuse, but now I'm being ripped out of my home, so that's another trauma that
Yeah.
I just experienced, and then initially when I first entered foster care, because there was four of us, 3 girls and 1 boy, if we enter into group home, they couldn't place us all in the same home because the age difference was so vast between us, and then there was male and female. So now I almost experienced another trauma if my family didn't step forward and say, I'll take all 4 of them, because my brother was being was going to be at risk of being separated from from his sisters, and then my younger sister, because she was 5 years younger than me, was going to be moved somewhere else. So now I'm about to experience the fact that I've been my little brothers and sisters' provider, and we had to steal a lot growing up because, you know, unfortunately, just drugs and parenting. We had to go to John Eagle with John Eagle bags we already had and put stuff in the bags and run out the store. You know what I mean? And that's how we stole to survive, because we didn't always have things to eat, or we had to only eat in school because we couldn't eat when we got home, you know, or we had to pick grocery shells out of our food just to eat it. You know what I mean? So we stole a lot. So I'm grateful for people who were like Tawan, who said, why are you stealing? I'll buy it for you. Here's $5. You know, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? But, you know, when you need to survive, I'm glad people didn't look at me like, oh, she's a badass kid, because I wasn't. You know, I was an honor roll student. I volunteered at church. I did all the stuff at church, but I was hungry. I had to eat. You know what I mean? And, you know, and just like Tawan could have saved that little boy's life, because unfortunately, my little brother, he grew up still in the have to eat because we didn't have food, and then he unfortunately led into his, to his adolescence years doing the same thing he did as a child to survive. And sometimes people don't.
Which can shift into a compulsion instead of
and some people
necessity.
don't. People use the things that they did to survive. Sometimes what you use to survive can be the very thing that tears you down when you get older.
Yep.
So what he did is stealing to survive as a child. Not saying he stole when he got older, but that thing he used to survive was the very thing that kind of affected him, that put him on probation when he became a teenager.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And
so,
it just started that life in the system.
Right. It's like once you get to probation, or you get to see life, it's like a cycle. Like you just can't see your way out, and that's where
it's hard. You gotta have real to like determination,
and that's where mentors come in, and you know, just loving on people. So I'm hoping that, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but the kids that, you know, I now interact with who are in kinship care with their grandmother, I'm hoping that my little things are coming over and buying them ice cream and taking them out and allowing them to come over to my house with my children and spend the night is going to affect them in a positive way. So when they get older, they can say, I want to be somebody like Miss Brittany in their life, and that doesn't lead to a life of crime. And hopefully I'm kind of shifting their reality and shifting where they can possibly end up to somewhere where they're being positive, productive members of society when they get older. You know what I mean? So that's all I can hope for them. So
that's cool, man. This show was good. It was deep. I liked it. It was good topic.
It got me thinking about some stuff. Like I'm over here, like sitting here, like
Larry about to be a foster dad.
Pause. I'm not ready for the super steps,
hey,
but
okay,
I am over here.
Baby
step. But I'm seriously saying, because I used to fish when I was younger.
Right.
Now went fishing with his family one time, left his ass in the dust.
Yeah.
Fucking, I fish like crazy now, and I'm over here sitting here like, damn, like I'm sitting here like thinking of like little programs or some shit that I could do, like foster fishing day.
That'll be done.
Yeah.
Where it's like find like foster parents and just take like a couple of kids out fishing for the day.
Yeah.
Or even like a fishing mentor program. Yeah. Where it's like 3 weekends during the summer, or 3 of my layoff days weeks during the summer, like once a month every, you know what I mean? Like take like a Saturday.
And that moment to you may not seem big, but to that child is life saving.
Yeah, right.
No, but that's what I'm dead ass like you. I stopped listening like 10 minutes ago, and that's been looping in my head.
But you start tuning in and tuning out.
Yeah, like tuning in and tuning out.
Where you can play your part.
How you can play your part.
Yeah. And you don't have to be a millionaire to have that.
And grab some rods and just start setting up where it's like, okay, if a family that reaches out. And you have like, I don't know how to find out like if somebody's actual foster, or even if I decide to do the mentor thing where it's like just a family reaches out and I'll take you know what I mean? Not even I'll take, like you can meet me out at the lake and we can just go fishing, or down by the river and we can go fishing. Shit, I'll bring my son along and you know what I mean? Like,
see, and that moment can change their lives. Not only are you teaching them a skill set that they may not have had, or it can be something that they did with their parent who may be deceased or on drugs or mental health, who are no longer in their life anymore, and now you're bringing that back into their life.
Or just putting that smile on their face for the first time in years. You know what I mean?
Can be an adult to where they can say, now I know Mr. Larry, I can trust Mr. Larry, and now they can start confiding in you and say, this is what's happening to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now you're I like to say when I'm working with people who are in care, just people in general, I want to reflect God's love wherever I go. So I want to say, when I go into somebody's life or their house, I can say, you know what? I'm showing a child that adults or love doesn't have to hurt, because sometimes these kids experience love, quote unquote, where it's hurting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I want to show them love where I'm just loving you and I'm not hurting you. So I'm sure
Yep.
that there is a good side to love, you know, if they never experienced it that way. So that's awesome, Larry. I hope you really keep that up.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
check
good,
in
and
see
maybe
if you
that's
really did
something that we can
Shit, I'm thinking-
plan to do
That
and
was
stuff in the summer too.
literally
Because
dead
when it
ass
gets
just
warmer,
I'm
you can
like-
invite a lot more
Yeah, like
people.
I'm sitting here thinking of
Right.
like where the hell I can store all these rods, or do I want to like do one family at a time and just find out how many kids they have and go out and buy each individual child their own, all of their fishing
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
after
You know
they
what,
don't
Larry,
know
there's so many
that they're
grants.
leaving with
Yeah,
that stuff. You know what I
There's
mean?
so many grants out there. So if you want to start your own like little nonprofit foster fishing, you know, there's so many grants who say, "Oh my God, we'll give you $50,000 if you just started this right
yeah,
now."
real. I
There's
mean,
so many
and
things that you can
just
tap into.
all you gotta do is just do the research. Hey, but hey, that's our show for today. Until next time, people. I'm your host, Token.
Shit.
I'm Brittany. That's Manna. I'm Brittany.
Yeah.
That's time.
Until next time, guys. We'll see you guys next Monday at 6:30. We
Ish.
are out.
6:30 ish.
Bye.
Bye. As soon as I play the music. Oh. As soon as I play the music.
I'm going do 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 do.
Fuck.
Comment, conversation, 412. Token and Mano, Pittsburgh, what it do? We in the city of bridges, we in the city of smoke. We in the city of rivers, so you don't need you a moat. We in the city of haters, so you just might need a coat. Or at least bring your jacket, cause man, the city get cold. Yeah, man, the city is frosty, yeah, man, the city is costly, but yeah, the city is mine. For 1, 2 times, well, you know that we grind, cause you know money is time, and you know time is steady ticking, so I gotta get mine. Then it's time to come up, so put your hands up. Let's all live this life before death interrupt. Ain't no time for messed up. Man, you better get with it. Arithmetic that I'm spitting, now do the math that you listen. Comment, conversation, 412.